Hey guys, this is John, and welcome to another episode of the Meatgistics podcast. We've got a little bit of a special one for you today. For those of you who are big Meatgistics members, you'll know that I have been severely under the weather the last 72 hours. Came down with a very bad case of COVID. Austin is also out with something else. So, not going to have a normal podcast today. We're doing one completely remote, as I'm not allowed at Walton's at the moment. But we had a guest lined up today anyways, so it will be all good. We're going to have a good conversation here. We've got Sam from Ready Rest. Now, before we get over to him, Sam and I began talking, and we'll get into why we did that. But he was nice enough to send me one of his units, and I am a huge fan of it. So we'll go ahead and get links posted to everywhere that you can go and buy this, go and look at it. But let's get right into it. Sam, how we doing?
I'm great. How are you? COVID sucks. I hope you're feeling better today.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Ready Rest, about the company.
So this was a passion/side project. The idea was kind of conceived at this point 3 years ago. I was out shooting clays on a sporting clay course not far from where I live with a buddy of mine. It was a busy day, it was a hot day, and 2 hours into it, I started getting really tired and fatigued. My shoulder, so I have a bad left shoulder, and so my shoulder started hurting, and I'm a lefty, so it compounds that problem. And so I turned to my buddy and say, hey, there's got to be something I can buy just to hold my gun, because the course is they were very strict. You got to keep it up, muzzle up. You can't walk around with it pointing anywhere. So any kind of deviance from that was, the marshal would show up. Hey, keep it up. Okay. So anyways, I go home. I look around. I see not a whole lot of stuff out there for me to use. There's a few things. There's a leather holster that you can buy, or you can buy this one thing that you wear on your belt. But nothing worked, and my gun wouldn't just stay upright, or as I would walk, the gun would kind of move with me. And so I started doodling some designs, and I talked to my buddy, and we started doing some research. And then I was looking for somebody to help me design. So my drawing skills are, a 5-year-old's design style. So I had some ideas. So I looked for a designer, and I looked on Upwork. So if you've ever hired any freelancers on Upwork, and I got a bunch of people asking, hey, we can help you. And nobody really understood the problem I was trying to solve, right? I had one lady, very nice lady, but she designed purses. I'm like, I'm not really looking for purse design, but okay, thanks. But then I happened to meet this one gentleman. He used to be the director of design at Nike Golf, and he and I hit it off real well. And so he took my design and he did his magic on it, and my directions to him were make sure that the gun is easy to shoulder, which I think you were able to get a feel of that. And I don't want any weight on my arms, on my shoulders. So that's how that design kind of came about, right? And so we made some prototypes. We tested them. This first prototype was a 3D printed model, which I walked around for about half an hour before it broke. And then we said, okay, we'll do it in aluminum. We sent it out to a stamping CNC shop. They gave us 10. They built 10 for us. Then I started testing them, working on them. The biggest challenge for me was the coating, right? Because there are a lot of guys out there with really nice guns, and you don't want to give them something that's going to scuff up or scratch their gun. So just a bare piece of aluminum is not going to work. And that took me, I would say, almost a year to figure out what the right coating would be. And once we got that done, I found a shop down in LA. I found a few across the country, but I found one in LA. They sent me some samples. I settled on one. and then the last piece was the belt. Initially, what I did was I went and bought these rolls of 1-inch nylon webbing on Amazon. I was like, I can do it all. I did 2. By the time you measure it and cut it and you put it on there, I'm like, this took me half an hour. And to make 2, that's not going to work. So then I started looking for suppliers for belts, and I found a couple. And then one guy was really cool. He gave me some options, and so that's kind of how the product came to be. And so I make it in my garage. And when I say make, I kind of get the pieces from different places, and then I put it together and I package it. So I seal it in plastic, I put it in a box, and then I ship it out. So that was a very long-winded story.
No.
It kind of came about.
That's perfect. So just to make sure everyone understands, this is a piece of aluminum that is it a spray coating or is it dipped?
It's dipped. It's PVC. It's called neoprene PVC, and that color actually is a proprietary color. Nobody had that color. I had to kind of develop it, so that took an additional bit of time to get that color developed.
But this, just feeling it, this is a very, very sturdy piece of metal here. Nothing is happening to this. We put it through a little bit of scratch testing. It doesn't scratch. Definitely doesn't scratch. It certainly isn't going to scratch your gun. Now, I have a little over-under that's probably, it's not heavy at all. But still, far prefer using this as to just carrying that around in the field. So do you find on your website, it says that your 2 main people you're trying to sell to are hunters and clay shooters. Do you have any data on, is it used more when shooting sporting clays or more out in the field?
So far my sales are lean towards hunters. Not to say clay shooters don't buy. It's just that I've got a lot of messages on my website. I've actually got people calling me and saying, and usually it's older gentlemen, and they'll be like, man, this is something I've been looking for my entire life. And so they're like, listen, I love hunting. I grew up doing this. I take my kids out, my grandkids out, and I'm just getting older. And so this encourages me to get back out in the field. And, it's great to hear direct feedback like that. For clay shooters, I've worked with the high school league. So USA Clay Target Leagues. I got in touch with them. I've done some marketing with them. And these are a lot of younger kids. So the smaller kids are more inclined to purchase something like this because, it is harder for them to carry their gun. Mm-hmm. But it's usually the hunters that I keep selling more and more to. That's why I have 2 colors, right? I have the khaki and I have the black. The khaki far outsells the black. So it's the hunters that are buying. No worries. So safety. So when I first designed this product, safety was not really top of mind. It was more comfort, convenience. But what ended up happening was, given just the way that the product works, it enhances safety significantly, right? And especially for the youth, for anybody older. So we all know what it feels like experiencing fatigue out, whether you're out on a sporting clay course for half a day or whether you're out in the field for a weekend, that you start getting tired, your arms start getting tired, and what happens? You start getting fidgety, you start getting restless, and the gun starts moving from arm to arm. Sometimes it's pointing where it shouldn't be, and so safety, the safety aspect of it was a byproduct of what the design ended up being. And one of the guides at Pheasant Fest in March this year told me how he gets a lot of corporate teams and events where people will go, they want to go shooting, they want to go hunting, team building, and inevitably somebody will get tired and hold a gun in a way that they're not supposed to, and a dog or 2 will get hit, unfortunately. And this was something I wasn't aware of, how often dogs get shot accidentally because somebody's holding a gun in the wrong way. So I think the message that I give to people is comfort and safety, or if you want to flip it, safety and comfort. Those are the two main value propositions for having this product in your gear.
And they absolutely play into each other. The more comfortable you are, the longer you're going to be able to maintain focus on, where it should be. When you say
exactly
a dog, I'm going back to the governor's hunt this year, and the last year we were there, somebody lost a dog, and it's just it's heartbreaking. For a lot of these people, they're work dogs, but they're members of the family. Let's be honest, they're incredibly close.
Exactly.
So, switch gears a little bit here. I was hoping that it was mostly a Google Ads problem, but I was playing around on your website earlier, and I wanted to see what your Facebook and Instagram looked like. Have they canceled your Facebook and Instagram?
They haven't canceled my Facebook and Instagram accounts, so I can still post stories and pictures and all of that as just social media, but I can't run any advertising on Facebook.
Right, so you've never had an ability to place ads on those.
No. So what I did earlier this year, at the start of this year? Yeah, so I had an agency that reached out to me, and they made all kinds of promises. So I told them, listen, I've had a lot of trouble with Google and Facebook. And, oh yeah, we can help you, and okay. And they tried and they failed. And so finally we said, you know what? I said, look, I just want people to learn about this. And so I did a giveaway for people what did I give away? A Beretta A400 XL. And so we had to be very creative with the imaging so that nobody really sees that it's a gun. I think it only showed the product and a stock on it, so not a picture of the full gun. And even the giveaway gun, I had to write it in words. I couldn't put a picture of the Beretta A400 XL. I just wrote it in words. For a chance to win, visit ReadyRest.com. And so I got a lot of people come through to the website via that ad. But again, it wasn't a full shop now ad for ReadyRest because they wouldn't let me.
So there is a level you can get to, because I don't want to call it out by name, but there is a rifle company that is extremely well known, especially for like the 22 models that I have seen ads, full-on ads for on Facebook. So there must be a number you can throw out.
So I've seen.
Go ahead.
I must be, because look, I've seen ads for, there's this really interesting gun case that I've seen an ad for. Actually, my wife forwarded it to me. She said, hey, how come you can't run an ad? These guys are showing an ad of this guy pulling a gun out of his gun safe and shooting it. In the ad, I'm like, what? So let me see. It was a handgun. It was doing. How come they wouldn't let me do it? And honestly, I just can't go up against them, man. I'm one small entity. I don't have the kind of dollars that maybe that got thrown that way. Because look, at the end of the day, cash is king. So I'm pretty sure somebody paid a little extra, and if they didn't, I'm good for them that they were able to get through.
Yeah, if they snuck one through, I'm not mad at them. It would be nice if the rules were evenly applied.
I agree, 100%.
So speaking of advertising, your YouTube advertisement that's on your homepage is phenomenal. I will absolutely be posting.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, and we will share that on our social medias when this releases this Friday, because whoever shot that knows what they're doing. Did you pay to have that done professionally, or what'd you do?
Yes. Yeah. So this was a guy I found on Upwork. So again, I needed to put a video on my website, and I looked at a number of photographers, videographers, and nobody seemed to fit the bill. And I found this one guy. He was big into duck hunting and fishing, and his portfolio is all outdoors, and his stuff was phenomenal. Really smart guy, really good guy. He understood, and I said, but the only thing is he hadn't really ever gone out and done any upland bird hunting, and so when I first got the first set of pictures back from him, the product was his model was wearing the product in a completely weird way. I'm like, dude, that's not how you wear. How did you even manage to wrap it around your body like that? So I had to FaceTime him. I said, let me show you how to wear this thing. And he saw it. He goes, oh, I feel like an idiot. He said, and then he went back and reshot everything. And so, yeah, I love the way that came out.
Yeah, he did an absolutely phenomenal job. I know. I'm going to show it to our video editor, and he'll love it. It looks like something that he would do. Really, really well done there. So,
yeah, it's a little bit of an artsy piece. And Mark Lukey looked at it and he goes, "That's really artsy, but we can make more of a marketing style ad for you." I'm like, I would love to do that. I just need more dollars in the bank to do that.
Yeah, but there is also something to the artsy piece. It grabs people's attention in a way that a more advertising heavy piece might not.
That's a good point. Yeah, fair enough.
So have you been hunting your whole life?
I haven't. So with this product, like I said, I would go and shoot clays pretty regularly. It was because of this product that I kind of got thrust into the upland world. So I had people reach out to me and said, "Hey, have you considered talking to this group or this individual?" And so I sent a message to Pheasant Bob at Pheasants Forever, and he got me in touch with with his people. And that's kind of where I started learning a whole lot more about this world. And I've, not to say I haven't, I've gone deer hunting and I've done some bird hunting in the past as when I was much younger. Now with family, with kids, it's just much harder for me to get out. But upland bird hunting is something I was just thrown into. And I'll tell you, man, the kind of people I've met and conversations with and gotten advice from, it's just such a wonderful community. Everybody's so generous with their time and with their, advice has been amazing. I'm so glad that I was able to meet all the people that I was able to meet because of this venture.
Yeah, it is amazing. I say it all the time. My wife and I moved down to Kansas 9 years ago now. And I started working with the Waltons, and through that met a bunch of people in the hunting community. And while Kansas isn't exactly the prettiest state to live in, man, the people, they more than make up for it. It is just an amazing group of people, and just constantly impressed with everyone's willingness to go ahead and go that extra mile to help you. So can't say enough.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I live in California, and I was just talking to my buddy, and this buddy of mine who I was with at the time of, when this idea came about, and he and I he's helped me a fair bit. And so, we live in this bubble, if you would, of non-reality here in California. But, I was fortunate enough to travel to South Dakota for the governor's hunt 2 years ago in 2021. Last year. And then this year to Nebraska for Pheasant Fest. And I'll tell you, it's so delightful meeting real people, and not like, I don't know whether are you a man or a woman? Are you?
Yes. We've all heard stories about California like that. The one thing I will say, I've met through BHA, Pheasants Forever, and a couple other organizations, quite a few hunters from California, and they're extremely grounded, normal people. I do think you get a understanding of what a lot of California is like, because so much focus is on LA, San Francisco, the big cities. You get outside those big cities, and I bet you could grab some of those people, put them in Kansas. Those two get along just fine.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I met a few of those people in South Dakota. We're just talking, and then oh yeah, we moved here from California. Like, we're from California. How do you like it? We love it. Best movie ever made. We're just tied down here for family. I have like so much family here that we talk about it every year. Let's move, and I think it's getting closer and closer to that.
Yeah, you hear a lot of those stories. It's a weird time in the country for sure. One of the nice things, though, and I bring this up a lot, in the last, 10 years, we've seen an increase in a lot of gun sales. And a lot of those are first time gun buyers, especially in the last few. So I do feel like there has been a change, and for at least a while, a good portion of the Second Amendment debate is over. You've gotten not the majority, but you have a vast number of new gun owners who are entering the market. They're now either gun enthusiasts, hunting enthusiasts, and they're learning how to do it safely, correctly. And once you do that, once you've owned your first firearm, you respect it, you get to use it, you hunt with it, you go to a shooting range. It really is a sort of a life-changing experience, because all of a sudden you have the ultimate, survival tool. This is the ultimate individual tool. I can now take care of myself. And I just think that's a huge win for the entire country.
Oh yeah, I agree. So I have friends who never really appreciated the idea of gun ownership, and so over time now they've become first-time gun owners, and so they're learning to do it correctly. I have friends whose kids, this one guy, he's 9 years old. He's always wants to come sit next to me and wants to talk about guns, and I'm like, this is great. And we talk about safety. Listen, you always make sure that the gun is never pointed in a direction you don't intend to shoot. You go in a safe, you go shoot at a range, always pointed down range. But it's great. Like, these kids are learning, because outside of my circle, you mention the word gun and everybody runs for cover. Like, what? Why? What? It's a tool. Yep. You got to learn how to use a tool. You got to learn it properly. That's it.
Yeah. And I still talk to people from New York. So 5 years ago, I bought my first, 6 years ago, I bought my first shotgun. Then 4 years ago, my first handgun. And now I have a truly ridiculous number of guns. It was just like, oh, well, now I want this and this and this and this. And for me, it's something I enjoy. It's so much fun. I belong to a local range here. I go shooting at least every other weekend. It's a skill that has tons of parallels to other things. You have to learn patience. You have to learn, discipline. You have to learn safety. It really is a beautiful way to learn some skills that you can apply throughout the rest of your life to things. So I'm glad we see eye to eye to that.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm in where I live. So I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, closer to San Jose. That a lot of people here don't see eye to eye. I mean, it's weird. It's just I feel uncomfortable talking to a lot of these people, because it's such an anti-gun culture here. It's like, I feel so out of place.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling, man. Let me tell you, from somebody who always felt out of place in New York, best move I ever made was moving to somewhere where people were more similar to me. So, not trying to push you out there.
Yeah, man, one day.
Yeah.
No, one day. Look, I'm already trying to get out of here.
Now, for listeners of the podcast, they'll know this, but you obviously wouldn't. I have a deep obsession with great white sharks, and a massive one was just spotted by the Golden Gate Bridge the other day. You're not a free diver or anything, are you?
No, but I'll tell you, I have a story. So my brother is obsessed with diving, and so back in the 90s, he dove in the bay with great whites with Jacques Cousteau's crew.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those, when if you're at a company and they do, the two truths and a lie, I throw that one in there and people are like, so that one's a lie. I'm like, no, that one's real.
That's amazing. I mean, that is the name.
So that's about as close as great whites I've gotten to. I'm scared out of my wits of sharks.
As you should be. They're unbelievably scary animals. I don't understand these people who get out of the cage and swim with them. Like, I watched Jaws when I was 4 years old, and it messed me up for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah. I'm in a pool when I was a kid. I would look behind me to see if there's a shark in a pool.
I still do that. Yeah, no, it's one of those terrible, terrible things. But, I mean, let's just be honest. California has some of the most beautiful land in the country. I mean, you've got beautiful mountains. You've got beautiful deserts. Obviously, you have probably the prettiest coast anywhere. So that is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love the landscape. I love living out here for those reasons. The sunsets that we get, we finally got some rain the last couple of days, so it's nice to see some clouds out there. But yeah, it's lovely to live here. So and I think that's one of the things that at the end of the day, I do all my pros and cons. I'm like, man, it's great to live here. The weather is amazing.
Just got to get away from some of those not so amazing people.
I agree, man. We're trying, man. We there was a bunch of so we filled out the ballots earlier this week, and we're trying. We're doing what we can.
Yeah, and that's all you can do in the end. We're everybody has a say in the country, so that's the way it goes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a couple other things. Does every order ship for free? Did I see that on your website?
Yes, free shipping.
No matter what. Within the continental United States, right?
Within the continental United States. Yes, thanks for clarifying that.
Yep.
Somebody orders from Hawaii, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, we have that problem on Walton's too. We've been trying to push more and more people to the website, and it's like, well, I need different shipping options for Hawaii because I can't ship something there for $7.95. That's just not going to work.
Exactly.
And people they don't want to understand that. It's like, well, come on. You can't order something for $10, pay $7 in shipping, and think we can do that. We obviously can't.
Yeah.
So, have you done any partnerships with anybody, any hunting personalities or anything?
I haven't. I've reached out to a few people, like I said, Pheasant Bob on Instagram he's the head of marketing at Pheasants Forever. And then, like I said, Lukey reached out to me. It's just, hasn't aligned yet, but, I'm not opposed to it, but it just, there's lots of things that need to happen before something like that happens for a venture that works for everybody.
I've got one person in mind who's got a decent following who I think would be interested in that. I'll shoot you an email after this. And also, Jonas is just a really good guy. All right. Other than comfort and obviously safety, what else about Ready Rest? What should we know if we were to take away anything other than comfort and safety, which are obviously two enormous pieces of the product? What else?
Well, one, it's made in America, right? So, like I said, I make it in my garage. So I buy the stamped aluminum from a fab shop here. I buy and I send it down to get it coated down in Los Angeles. And then everything comes back to me. I assemble it. I package it. I box it. Even the boxes here made and printed in the U.S. And I put my kids to work. So, so that they learn. I mean, look, man, these kids need to learn a little bit about how You have to earn a wage. It's not everything's going to get handed out to you. And the value of $1. And then 2, a portion of my sales I give to charity. I'm not some kind of, formal charity that I set up and give away. I just see whoever is needy, whether it's in the community, whether it's a cause that catches my eye. But I made a pledge that some of this will go to charity, and so that's one of the things that I do.
Sure, take care of the community like we all should be doing. But that's awesome.
Exactly.
I'm incredibly happy to hear that you give back, especially to local community. I think that's where most charities should begin.
Okay, how about Meaty 20, MEATY 20, and so this is the same discount, similar discount to Pheasants Forever. So this way, your listeners are getting the same deal as everybody else.
Okay, and what is that 20? Is it 20% off?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, it's a 20% off. So off $44.99, you get 20%. We're excited about $36 for the product. Shipping is included, so it's not a bad deal.
That is not a bad deal at all, especially for something that's going to make your days.
Aircraft aluminum.
Yep, and it'll make your days in the field easier and more safe. Like I said, I'm going to get you in touch with Mike and Brittany. They're doing a ton of stuff with youth hunters, and man, would that not be a good idea to help add an extra level of safety for them?
That'd be wonderful. Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's always nice to be able to help out good people. So absolutely no problem whatsoever there. It was great talking to you. Thank you for hanging with us. For those of you who are listening, hopefully you won't notice, but we had some technical difficulties about midway through. Hopefully we'll be able to clear that up nice and easily. If not, what I'll do is I will record some audio and insert it in whatever kind of got messed up, just explaining it. But
sounds good.
Thanks so much, Sam. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, John. Great talking to you.
Too.
Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltonsinc.com. And to get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Walton's, everything but the meat.